This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Brandon Andrus Green.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast Live. Are you in need of a reliable local roofer? Well, one may be closer than you think. Today, I'm joined by your good neighbor, Jeremy Newkirk with Newkirk Roofing. Jeremy, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing well. So I know a lot of homeowners don't even realize they have a roof problem until water's already inside the house. What are some of those early warning signs that people should be paying attention to?
Every time it rains, they see a bunch of granules coming out of their gutters.
Oh,
Yeah. If they want to take some binoculars out, look and see if there's pipes sticking out of your roof. They're plumbing pipes for ventilation. If you take some binoculars or zoom your camera in, you can see if the gasket on that pipe is cracking. It's always the flashing. If you have a leak,
yeah.
it's most likely the flashing or it's a flat roof. But yeah, those are a couple of things that you can look for.
And when those signs are ignored, how quickly can a small problem turn into a real expensive one?
Yeah, man. Once that water starts coming in the house, that's when it can get really expensive. It depends on how long that water's been getting in, because sometimes you get on that roof and the decking is soft and you can tell that the water's been getting in and damaging the decking before it ever even got inside the house. And that's, you have to rip things off. And so it really depends on how long the problem has gone unaddressed. That's why if your roof is over 5 years old, you should probably have it checked annually or biannually. And then right around year 12 to year 15, you need to start making up a plan of how are we going to be addressing this roof in the future. Because most roofs here in the South, where it gets really hot and really cold, we get such a drastic temperature change. Last week it was, 65, 60 degrees in the morning, and then it's 102 by the afternoon.
Right.
That it makes the expansion and contraction of the shingle excessive, and that's where it ages quicker. So like a 30-year laminated comp shingle will actually last 30 years up north. Down here in the South, it's not the same thing. So yeah, that's.
And so when a homeowner calls and says they have a leak, what kind of happens behind the scenes?
Okay. So someone calls me and says they have a leak. First, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to address it. I want to see what's going on. Is it a repairable roof? Not every leak requires a brand new roof. Sometimes it just needs a repair. So getting on the roof, you got to get on the roof and look at it. Some people use drones. Drones can be problematic. They cannot. So hail damage is not very visible unless you're about 2 feet from it. Shingles camouflage really well from the ground. So to identify hail damage, at least you have to get up on it and look at it. Wind damage, the other thing, like I tell homeowners all the time, it's not ideal to file a claim just because you see some shingles in your front yard.
Right.
One, because insurance companies don't, their natural process is to write for repair whenever there's wind damage shingles. They automatically write for repair. And so if that homeowner needs a new roof because it's unrepairable, it's old, something of that nature, or there's hail damage and there's wind damage, like a couple years ago, the Father's Day storm, right? We had hail 4 days before that before that crazy windstorm that came through. So it did a bunch of damage, and then you had a bunch of wind that blew a bunch of shingles off. Well, all these adjusters didn't know that there was a major hail event. They just knew that there was a major wind event. So I had to be proactive and tell homeowners, you need to file this on hail. You need to file it on this date, not the windstorm. Well, I have missing shingles. I understand. But your insurance company is naturally going to try and pay for a repair if you file it on a wind claim, not a hail claim. And we want, most likely, if that person has wind damage, it's probably because the roof is getting old. That's when you start getting wind damage. Is the I mean, unless it's some crazy severe wind or you have just really junk shingles.
Right. But
On average, wind damage is going to be because the roof is aging out and it's been through some hailstorms. I mean, just especially Oklahoma, we get hail. And they say that the average hailstorm, even if it's pea size, takes 2 to 5 years off the life of your roof.
Wow.
So yeah, if it's every hailstorm is taking 2 to 5 years off the life of your roof, and your roof gets to about year 15, no wonder it's falling apart and you're seeing so many granules come apart. Even if it didn't, because technical damage is where there's a fiberglass mat inside that shingle. The asphalt and the granules are sitting on top of that fiberglass mat. And when hail hits it, it fractures that mat. And over time, that's why the granules are falling apart. That's why the shingle starts sparkling in the sun. It looks like it's just, there's a bunch of glass up there because it's the fiberglass fibers that you're seeing. So anytime someone has a hailstorm, if it's an inch or above, they should, especially as it gets older, they should definitely have a trained roofer that knows what storm damage is. Get up there and inspect it and see if there's damage on it. I got on one yesterday. I know for a fact that this lady's roof has gone through multiple hailstorms, and she did not have any hail damage on that roof, and it was 15 years old. I wish I could have told her. I was like, I'm sorry, you don't have damage on this roof. It's just old and falling apart. You don't have technical damage, right?
Right.
And that's where it's like, you have. But if you tell the truth over time, it's going to be better for you and better for the homeowners, because then I'm not telling her to file a claim and then the insurance company denies it, and now she's stuck with an unpaid claim that stays on her policy for 3 years and looks negative and actually increases her rates for the next
So,
years.
so it sounds like you have some background in all of this. How did you actually get started in roofing?
I was I was in a bar, cleaning a bar at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Houston, Texas, outside of Tomball, Texas. And I was cleaning a bar. We weren't open, and a roofer came in and talked to me. I'd been a roofer for 9 years at that time in Vegas, and then we moved out to Houston. And I knew I was getting out. I just didn't know what I was going to be doing. And I talked to this roofer for an hour while he was waiting for my boss, and he said, "You need to come and check out what we're doing." And I started there within a month and a half. It was the craziest thing. It felt like absolutely everything in my life made sense because I love puzzles, I love people, and the process just made sense. And I'm really good with people. And you get, you can be good with people in bartending, but at some point you get tired of the drunks. So so I started that, and it was awesome. I worked for a place called Texas Engineered Roofing down in the Woodlands and Tomball, Texas for 3 years. And then I got into the insurance side, and became a consultant for a company called MKA, where I did major losses. I traveled from El Paso to Brownsville to Houston to San Antonio. I mean, I was all over the state of Texas. So it was really cool, though. I got to go to Puerto Puerto Rico one time, and we went into this Coca-Cola plant, and there'd been a hurricane, and the water line in that Coca-Cola plant smelled horrible. The water line was 9 feet high,
Oh my
and the
goodness.
water had receded down, and it just smelled horrible. But we had to document the entire factory, of all this water damage and stuff like that. So I got a good, um, well-rounded understanding of commercial roofing and that process, of the commercial side of insurance. What I also figured out then was, if you want something from an insurance company, all you got to do is know how to push.
Mhm.
So it was very illuminating.
And along those lines, have you found some common misconceptions that either, let's say, homeowners or business owners kind of have around the roofing industry in general, their own roof, when to spend money, when to wait? Are there any common misconceptions you found?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the biggest problem in the roofing industry, and I would say it's probably in every state, not just Oklahoma. Um, you have a bunch of, I would say it's people. There's crooks in every business, right? And um, I got on a roof, down in Bixby the other day, and it was an 8-year-old roof. And this homeowner showed me some pictures. He's like, "Hey, there's this, there's this, there's this," and I got up on there, and all of those pictures were not of that roof.
Oh my goodness.
They were of someone else's roof, and the this other roofer, this guy who had just started in the roofing business, had created or had sent them pictures of this other roof and was like, "Oh, this roof is totaled. You need to file a claim on this roof." And there was no supporting damages once I got on there, and I showed him pictures. I was like, "Here, man, this, I don't know where those pictures came from, but it's not of this roof." He's like, he said it's mine. I'm like, "It's not." And it was perfectly fine. The roof was fantastic. I had done 2 roofs earlier this year for his mother-in-law. And she was like, "I'm so glad we called you. We would have filed that claim and would have, gotten denied." And so I think the misconception is that just because someone gets on my roof and shows me some pictures, that it's true. So I'll tell you a story about an insurance adjuster that I saw doing. The first time I knew that there was a big weirdness, that this is roofing is such a can be such a dirty business, right? I get on this roof in Houston, Texas, and this adjuster is up there with a water bottle and a rag, and he's soaking the rag with the water, putting it on the shingle, and then taking a picture of it because it looks like hail damage.
Oh my goodness.
Right. So that really showed me, it's like, because some adjusters get paid percentages on losses, catastrophe adjusters do. And so as the homeowner, it stinks because the the misconception is all these people are telling me that I have damage on my roof, but they're all benefiting from me filing a claim on this roof, and
Yeah.
I may not even have damage. So I not
Is there a
not
way?
every
Is there a way
sorry.
that homeowners can protect themselves from that? Because you guys kind of have the advantage because you're going up on the roof, and most homeowners kind of like to stay on the ground. But
Yeah. um I mean, I think having multiple inspections by multiple roofing companies is just wise. I you don't technic if you're filing a claim for your roof, you don't technically need 3 estimates the estimate that matters the most is the one from the insurance company. That's the one where we have to negotiate off of and deal with. But, if that person is not referred by someone else, then I would be very leery of them. Go with someone that is highly recommended by someone that you trust. And that I think word of mouth is the strongest and most consistent way to get a good product for a homeowner. Is use someone that you can trust. Google is a great resource. The Google reviews I would argue Google reviews are better than Better Business Bureau reviews, because Better
Mm.
Business Bureau reviews you can pay to change your score. you
Oh,
can't you can't pay Google to change anything. You can ask them to remove reviews and stuff like that, but you have to prove that they weren't a customer or different things like that. And so reviews, I feel like Google reviews are a lot more honest, but at the same time you can pay people to leave reviews. And what a lot of roofing companies do that I found is they ask for homeowners to leave reviews before they've even done the work. I don't ask for a review until everything has been completed, because what a lot of people are saying, hey, if you leave us a review, we'll take $1,000 off of this job. Well, if you can take $1,000 off, how much money can you take off of this job?
right. Yeah,
You know what I
thousands a
mean?
lot.
1,000 is a lot. And with um I write my estimates with like the number, right? I don't want to negotiate with homeowners. I don't want to sit there and be like, well, I can do this and I can do that. I want to give them, the way I write an estimate is, if I had to do everything exactly the way it needs to be done, here's what it would be. If we don't have to do this and we don't have to do this and we don't have to do this, it will be left off the final invoice, and we're going to have pictures why it's not going to be needed to be done. Because I want to give you the worst case scenario price and then work my way backwards, because that's how trust is built.
Right, right.
So I think the best thing that homeowners can do is get a good referral from somebody. Hey, have you used this person before? Do they know what they're talking about? And then go to their Google reviews and go through a couple of them. Don't just, I don't have any 4-star reviews. I have only 5-star reviews. And I've heard people say, well, you gotta get like 1 4-star or 1 3-star review, because all 5-star reviews isn't realistic. Well, it is, if you if you're pursuing the right things and you're doing the right things.
Excellent,
I
excellent. Yeah.
you know so I I have yet to get a 4-star review. I probably should get one, because they say for whatever reason that you don't want all 5 stars, but I want perfection in my
Yeah, yeah. Newkirk Roofing shoots for perfection.
yeah. Yeah,
Well,
so Newkirk Roofing is my LLC, and Roof Leaks and More my is my uh is my DBA. So
perfect.
the reason I did Roof Leaks and More initially was for Google, because Google back in the day, your name would, the SEO would really help. About 24 months ago, maybe a little bit more, Google changed that. And now they're like, we don't care what your name is. You're going to pay us, to get found on Google no matter what. And so I, Newkirk Roofing is my LLC, all my bank information, stuff like that. But then Roof Leaks and More is how people find me on Google. And that is one of the only things where I'm like, I think I may actually change that back to Newkirk Roofing or something like that, because I've kind of pigeonholed myself into, it sounds like he only does repairs.
Mm.
And so I've been actually considering some of that stuff. I was also thinking, because you can DBA a name all, and a lot of DBAs have to do with marketing, right?
Right.
And so I was thinking about doing illumination roofing. We shed light on your roofing experience. We shed
Oh,
light on, we shed light on how to do your roof with your insurance or whatever it is. I think it would be more marketable, if that makes sense. But we didn't get on here to talk about changing my name.
kinda. So, what is the best way for our listeners to get in contact with you?
roofleaksandmore.com, Roof Leaks and More on Google, and then you can find us on Facebook. But 918-202-8184 is my is the business phone number, and we're found on Google. We have 150 plus Google reviews, 5-star Google reviews. Yeah, I mean, you can find us anywhere online, and then on Facebook as well. So.
Nice. Well, Jeremy, I so appreciate you coming on the show, and I wish you and Roof Leaks and More and Newkirk Roofing the best moving forward.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnptulsa.com. That's gnptulsa.com. Or call 918-301-6356.
Rock and roll, man.
Rock and roll.